Lost my count. Oh, well. On this week's episode, Morbius takes a bite out of the Spider-Verse. Sony revamps its PlayStation Plus, and we preview WrestleMania 38. All this and more as we reach our next stop, the PCC Multiverse. And we're back with another episode of the PCC Multiverse. This is Gerald Glasser from Pop Culture Cosmos, Game Source, Inside Sports Fantasy Football, and the Lakers Fast Break. We truly appreciate everyone out there listening to all of our shows. And if you can, please give us a 5-star review wherever you get your podcast. Yes, 5. Yes. $5 foot long.
Oh,
yes,
you got to pay to get that done on this show.
Yeah,
come on
absolutely.
now. Don't give that away for free.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But if you can support, subscribe, or do whatever you can to take care of us right here at the Pop Culture Cosmos, Game Source, Inside Sports Fantasy Football, the Lakers Fast Break, Vampires and Vitae, Wizards and Wine, plus all the great things that we do at the Pop Culture Cosmos because we are the #1 tabletop RPG streamer on Facebook. And while you're there, you can check out the latest news and information on everything trending in pop culture right there at the Pop Culture Cosmos on Facebook. And if you could do all of that, it is sincerely appreciated. But it wouldn't be a PCC Multiverse without my good friend. She is our own vampire. That should be the new Morbius. But
yeah,
unfortunately.
Apparently.
Yes.
From what I've heard.
That's correct, yes.
Yeah.
Of Vampires and Vitae. You got to check out what she's doing today at Vampires and Vitae, wherever you get your podcasts, and Pop Culture Cosmos on Facebook, plus her amazing game, Wizards and Wine, where she goes crazy with all the gals there.
Mm.
Yes, and that she does. Yes, she'll tell you maybe not. No. You got to hear one of these games. Yes, they go crazy indeed. But it is my good friend. It is Melinda Barkhouse Ross. And Melinda, great to have you back.
Yes.
Hope you have your fangs ready. We've got another great episode on tap today.
I'm ready to dig in.
There you go. I'm watching my neck here, watching the jugular there for you. Okay. All right. But we've got a great show lined up for you today, which we will be talking about a certain vampire. That is Morbius. That the Spider-Verse is now extended as Morbius hits theaters once again. Well, actually, once again. It's been delayed and delayed and delayed and delayed. And now it finally hits theaters this weekend. And we'll talk about if Morbius is being loved or being loathed. And if it'll actually be a successful part of the Spider-Verse. We'll speculate on that coming up here in a bit. Plus also as well, PlayStation. Well, they kind of did a thing. They kind of announced a thing. It's 3-tier program as part of a revamped PlayStation Plus. I want to hear from our own PlayStation fan, Miss Melinda Barkhouse Ross, coming up here in a minute. But also as well, I've got a great interview with TJ Johnson, who's going to be talking about PlayStation Plus and GTA Plus. All these pluses being flown around. He's going to be talking about that here in a sec. Plus, again, Melinda's thoughts on PlayStation Plus. We're going to be previewing WrestleMania 38 on the back end of the show as my good friend John Orlando from the PVD Cast stops by to go ahead and preview the big event, 2-day event, as I said long ago that the WWE should do. Not 1, but 2 days. They're doing that this weekend in Dallas. So he'll talk about that coming up here in a bit. Plus also as well, I got a review of Moon Knight Episode 1. I hope Melinda has seen it or not.
I have. I did my homework this week.
All right. Good. Passing grade from her.
Hey.
I want to hear her thoughts on Moon Knight, and I'll share it as well coming up here in a bit. We also want to go ahead and mention some thoughts on the Game of Thrones prequel. Finally has a time release window, so we'll talk about that coming up. The Bubble from Judd Apatow coming this weekend to Netflix. We'll just mention that real quick. That's coming up, so we'll share some thoughts on that here in a bit. And last but certainly not least, we kind of kidded him on the Monday show in regards to where his career is gone, but now his career is no more as Bruce Willis unfortunately made the announcement of his retirement due to health reasons. We'll go ahead and detail that on the back end of the show as well. But Melinda,
My
it
goodness.
is the dude with the fangs.
Mm-hmm.
It is a long gestating movie that's been out there and finished and completed years ago. They got delayed and delayed and delayed and delayed, called Morbius, which supposedly extends the Spider-Verse even more. It was so funny because I was reading on the comments that Jared Leto destroyed DC with his role as the Joker in the Suicide Squad, and now will ruin the Spider-Verse with his role in Morbius. I was saying, okay, well, it's not going to be that bad. But then I checked out Metacritic last night, and the
Uh-oh.
reviews started rolling in because
Yeah.
they have that point where they can start releasing. I think it was like around 5 p.m. yesterday on Wednesday that they could start releasing it, and so you started seeing the reviews pop up. I'm thinking, okay, let me go ahead and check it out Metacritic. The first 24 critics are up there. Okay, that's not a good sign. It's 37. That's the overall Metacritic score. But I'm like, okay, it's just the first couple hours that the review's been up. I'm sure there's going to be some slackers. I'm sure there's going to be people some lagging by. They're going to just drop it tomorrow, next day. Sure that the critics will go ahead and give it an overall decent score by the next day. So I checked it out earlier today. And many more people and many more critics have weighed in with their thoughts. And the score actually went down 1 point to 36.
I mean, he's a vampire. He's meant to suck, but not quite like that, right?
Yeah, it's going to suck,
Oof.
it looks like. And
Oof.
this is something where I don't know. Venom didn't get the greatest ratings in the world, and it became a worldwide sensation. Plus, its sequel, which I think is actually just as bad,
Some
or
say
maybe
worse.
some say worse. I don't
Yeah.
know. The first one was pretty bad for me,
I
but
enjoyed the
it
first one.
still made it a nice chunk of change.
Yeah.
So I want to hear your thoughts on Morbius. I don't have that same feeling of success for Morbius. It is expected to do right around $40 million at the US box office just because it's front loaded, I think. I think where this really is going to get hit is in the second and third week down the line. You're going to see a
Right.
massive drop because of the word of mouth on this probably will be so bad. That's just a gut feeling,
Sure.
but I want to hear your thoughts on Morbius.
I mean, I'm going to see it. Of course I'm going to see it. I love comic book movies.
And you
I
love
love them.
vampires.
Yeah, and I like vampires. So obviously I'm going to go see this movie. And even if it is terrible, there's going to be something about the movie to enjoy.
Okay, just don't get so mad at your husband Robbie as you're leaving the theater, Joe. You brought me here. I'm going to
Yeah.
suck the life out of you right now and just jump on him on his back and start sucking on his neck and all that. You did this to me.
No, I will write a strongly worded email and send it to my good friend Jared Leto.
Okay, fair enough.
I'm just kidding.
Because
I
I
don't have
like
his
Jared
email,
Leto.
but if anybody does have it,
I know he's had a tough time. He just got the Razzie Award for House of Gucci, which I think was a really good role. I actually thought it was very well written. And I understand that, again, as we talked about this before, the 20 pounds of prosthetics on him. I understand that that's what set people off, but I thought he actually did a good job in it. And I found it quite amusing, but he's not having a good time right now, Jared Leto.
No.
He's actually a really good actor. He's no Academy Award nominated or winning actor.
Yeah.
He's seen the highs of highs, but right now it's kind of like the lows of
I
lows.
don't know. Like maybe go back to making music for a while.
I don't know, maybe.
I don't know.
Indies, going back to indies.
Yeah, I mean, and it hurts me because I enjoy watching Jared Leto on a big screen.
He has been really good.
He's so handsome. I mean, come on. I'll give him time. Even if it's a bad movie, I'll still give him some time. I don't know. That's all I have for it, really. I mean, it's a vampire movie. I'm gonna go see it. Even the bad ones are still kind of good.
He did win for Dallas Buyers Club as
Yeah.
Best Supporting Actor, so he can do good.
Yes, he can,
And
he should. I don't. Heaven only knows what happened.
It's very, very sad indeed. I mean, Morbius. This will probably be a footnote. I mean, he'll probably still be part of the Sinister Six when they all get together to go ahead and lay the smackdown on Tom Holland at some point in time because they're going to back up the Brinks truck to get Tom Holland to be in a Sinister Six movie. So you already know this is coming, Tom. I don't know if I'm actually going to be. I don't know what my future lies, but I'm really give me a break.
Yeah, you're gonna do it.
You're gonna do it. But I do think that there will be a future with him involved in a Sinister Six movie type deal, just because you've already committed to it. But
Yeah.
this is not a situation with the Eternals, because the Eternals, I know it got just ravaged by the critics. I know it just got ravaged by the fans. It ended up only $60 million less worldwide than Shang-Chi and the Legend of Ten Rings. People have got to put that in perspective. That
Yeah.
it was a number 10 movie, whereas Shang-Chi was 9 in overall worldwide box
Right.
office numbers.
Yeah.
So it didn't do that bad.
Yeah, and
So
once I finally kind of got myself over what everybody had been saying about the Eternals, I did go and watch it finally,
yeah,
and, for a flick, it's not a bad flick. If
it's
you
not
don't
bad.
know.
It's not,
Yeah,
to
if
me.
you don't
I
know.
I liked it. I
Yeah,
didn't love it. It's
right.
right there, like middle of the pack for me in MCU movies, right
Yes.
around there ish.
Yeah.
Not that bad. I mean, worst comes to worst, you could see Iron Man 2 again. Ooh, so that scared me right there. But that's more scary than Morbius. But I will say this is a disappointing turn. I think this is the thing where people were afraid of. That Sony, when it wanted to go ahead and expand the Spider Verse and start doing a Craven the Hunter or a Black Cat or Venom, or once
Yeah,
they got that success with Venom, then again everything started to explode in the Spider Verse, and that to me is something where okay, you're going to get these kind of returns where some things might be actually pretty good and sometimes some things might not be. And these are the things I think where Morbius and Craven the Hunter and Black Cat and some others that you're going to make movies out of that may not be, how should I say this? I don't say deserving. They just may not be presentable in a standalone movie. They'd probably be
right.
better represented in like a featured role on a Spider-Man or even a Venom. Now that he's made, that's made a lot of money. I would say that would be better suited, or even a series. If Sony started to say, you know what, we're going to go to Netflix and say, hey, we want to make a series of Morbius, I think that would have worked out just better.
Sure, sure. But we'll never know because
I'll
we
never
have a
know.
terribly rated movie to go see.
Yeah, absolutely. But
Oh,
I
man.
mean, Disney is getting it right because they're doing a get to know you thing with Moon Knight
Yes,
to
absolutely. Yeah,
instead of just putting out a 2 hour movie out there that could have flopped. And they did the thing with the Eternals, which they can still salvage and they can make more movies out of, and they can still make money off of, and they can still be a major part of the MCU. With Moon Knight and maybe Nova, I'm not sure if that'll end up being a movie or a series, but they could do the same thing where these unfamiliar characters to a larger part of the audience, people will go ahead and gravitate to more
yeah,
as a series. There's already talk that Moon Knight will never be a part of the television series again, or of any television series. He'll only is going to do movies at this point forward, which is fine. But you've already initiated people so much on a platform like Disney Plus.
right.
I think the same thing goes for Sony. They got to be careful when they go ahead and which characters they have. I know they have Aaron Taylor Johnson as Craven Hunter coming up in a movie. I really think they should look again after the what most likely will be the lack of success, and we'll report it on the Monday show for sure. But the lack of success for Morbius, I really think they need to reevaluate how they treat the Spider Verse going forward.
Yeah, that's very true. And in the movie's defense, some of the stuff that I was reading today was talking about, how people said that some of like the horror special effects were quite good in the movie. Some of the gore stuff, if that's what you're into when you go to watch a movie, they were saying that those special effects were actually quite good. Unfortunately, not good enough to save the movie, but it's not a complete waste of your money if you do decide to go see it in the theater.
Well, you are planning to go see it in theaters, so I definitely need a update on how you think it is, an evaluation, because I definitely value your opinion. So as soon as you see it, you let me know, or you let us know here
Yeah,
at the
for sure.
Cosmos exactly how it is.
Absolutely.
And again, no biting your husband on the way out of the theater if it's bad. That's all I say.
Okay,
All right. See, okay, better. All right.
fair
All right.
enough.
All right. But if you have thoughts on Morbius and Jared Leto's performance as Morbius as he heads into the Spider Verse as it hits theaters this weekend, we want to hear your thoughts if it is not as bad or if it's good. And if it's better than what the critics are saying, we want to hear your thoughts. Popculturecosmos at yahoo.com. Well, there's so much more to talk about on today's program, but before we head to the break
Hmm?
and TJ Johnson and PlayStation Plus, I want to hear your thoughts on PlayStation Plus. Again, it's the three-tiered system that's supposed to be a competitor of the
Yes.
Xbox Games Pass. And with the three different tiers, the middle tier will actually introduce allow you to have access to 400 different games in the PS4, PS5 library. And the highest tier will allow you to have access to another additional 340 games that go back in the realms of PS1, PS2,
Yeah.
PSP,
Hmm.
PS3. Okay, I know that TJ and I have some thoughts on it, and we'll share that after the break. But I definitely want to hear your thoughts as a PlayStation fan
Yeah.
on the way to the break. What your thoughts are on PlayStation Plus?
Highest tier. Highest tier. I'm doing it. I'm going in. It's about time. I cannot wait to play Legends of Dragoon on my PS4, which I have not played since I was okay, it was too long ago. Early no. Yeah, early late teens, early 20s. Somewhere in there in my life. Legends of Dragoon. I loved that game. I adored it so much. And yeah, I'm excited to be able to play it on my PS4.
Do you think it's
I
kind of unfair what they're saying is that you could just go buy it, let's say from our good friends at Retro City Games, and you're still not able to pop it into your PS4
right.
because of they're forcing you to go ahead with the service.
Right. I mean, that's I think that a lot of the things that Sony is doing is I think they're getting away from physical copies of things.
Mm-hmm.
And I am excited. I
Mm-hmm.
don't know. I'm looking forward to it. I think it's a smart move. I think it makes sense because you had your PlayStation Plus membership, and then you could play extra stuff to get access to more PlayStation games and stuff like that. So now combining the services, baby, that just made sense. It's about time. Well done, Sony. Thank you. Thank
All
you
right.
for giving me something to be optimistic about.
Okay. Well, I just wanted to make sure, and believe me,
Yeah.
I value your opinion on it. I'm happy that you're happy
Yeah.
that the PlayStation Plus tiers, especially the last tier, the 17.99 per month tier, US dollar,
Yeah, or
that's
120 a year.
yeah, or
Yeah,
120 a year
yeah,
is going to be something you are interested in getting and something that you're going to value and utilize as far as the library is concerned. I'm still not sure exactly which titles will be introduced as part of the program on both
yeah.
those tiers. We'll see what happens there, but we want to hear your thoughts on PlayStation Plus. I know you'll be hearing our thoughts as far as from me and TJ Johnson after the break, but we want to hear your thoughts on PlayStation Plus. If you think this is the value program for you, and that if you think this compares favorably to Xbox Games Pass. Before we hit the breaks, though, popculturecosmos at yahoo.com. But before we hit the break, they're not doing first run, first day, first party games. That I have an issue with. So to me, it doesn't match up with Xbox Games Pass.
Okay, wait, say that again. I didn't quite I didn't
It,
follow.
you will not see on this new PlayStation Plus. You will still will not see first party games, first party Sony games, first run
Okay.
Sony games. Let's say a new Horizon Dawn comes out.
Okay. Okay.
You will not see it first run on that platform. You'll still have to wait 2 or 3 or 4 years when it becomes a classic, when it becomes a Sony PlayStation classic, maybe a
Right.
year down the line, what have you.
Right.
You still will not be able to get it day one like you can first run Microsoft games on Xbox Games Pass. That will
Okay, I
be to
see what
me
you're saying.
that to me is a big distraction or detraction.
Yeah, that's kind of a bummer, but it's not a deal breaker for me.
Okay.
You
All right.
know, I don't think that that's terrible. I'm still not going to go buy an Xbox.
Yeah, I know that. We can't bribe you for that. There's just no bribing you there. But if you have thoughts on PlayStation Plus, please let us know. Popculturecosmos at yahoo.com. Well, coming up after the break, it is TJ and I. We'll be talking PlayStation Plus and GTA Plus. The pluses are flying all around, and you'll
Everywhere.
find out why after the break. Plus, after that, at the 30-minute mark, we will have my good friend John Orlando joining us for the preview of WrestleMania 38 this weekend. He's excited. I'm all right. But there's things that we don't want to talk about on both nights and the unification match between Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar. Who will win? Who do we think will win? You'll find out. That's coming up at the back end of the show. This is the PCC Multiverse. And we're back at the program. It's the PCC Multiverse. Want to thank so much TJ Johnson and John Orlando for stopping by on the show. They had much to talk about, and we also still have much to talk about on the way out. Mrs. Melinda Barkhouse Ross is here with me, the legend that is so much a part of the Vampires and Vitae and Wizards and Wine, the number one tabletop RPG streamer on Facebook that we are. But before we head on out, my friend, we both saw Moon Knight from Disney Plus
Yeah, we did.
this week, episode 1. Your thoughts on it, and then I'll share mine because I want to go ahead and hear your thoughts on what the introduction for you was like for Moon Knight.
Yeah. Full disclosure, I don't know anything about Moon Knight. I have never read any of the comics. So this was, a first take for me all around.
Well, you were not unlike the entire, I think the entire, but 90% of the audience going in, they didn't have any idea either.
Yeah. So I loved the first episode. I thought it was great. The way that you still, by the end of the episode, you're still not sure what's happening.
Yeah.
So I'm definitely tuning back for episode 2. The way that they introduced, oh my gosh, sorry, I'm having a brain.
What are you talking about as far as not Mark Spector?
The actor.
Oh, Oscar Isaac.
Nope.
Oh,
he's Moon Knight. The other guy.
As far as the actual the antagonist himself.
Yeah. What's that actor's name?
Oh
my god.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I know, right? So
wow.
we're both
anyway, was it Kevin Bacon?
No, it's not Kevin Bacon. No. He was in Training Day with Denzel Washington.
Oh, right.
Yes.
Wow. Somebody is yelling somewhere.
Yeah, somebody is yelling somewhere, and they won't hear this. They won't hear this on the back end of the show, but it is. It is. Ethan Hawke.
Yes, thank you. Oh my god.
So it is Ethan Hawke. He's going to be on the. He's on the show. He's the bad guy. You see him at the very beginning wearing some very uncomfortable shoes. That's all I'll say on that.
I physically felt that.
Yes. By the way, spoilers for everyone out there.
I was just. Well, no, we don't have to tell them why the shoes were uncomfortable.
Yes. Okay. We'll be vague. How about that? Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Holy smokes! What a great villain he's going to be.
Yes.
Oh man, I can't wait.
Well, he's been longing to play a role in the MCU, and now he gets his chance as bad guy here. He's him and Oscar Isaac's characters. I'll say characters plural.
That's
are both invested into the Egyptian gods and the things that are going on there. It's very mysterious. You see the persona first for Oscar Isaac with his. And this is something that's out of the trailers, so I'm not spoiling it for anyone. As far as Stephen Grant from the gift shop, the London Museum gift shop, which I thought was very comical.
Yes.
I know the overseas, they're really having their fun with Oscar Isaac and this British accent in it. But
oh my gosh.
Yes. For the first episode, Stephen is actually a great part of this episode. And we don't see his alter ego, Mark Spector, until the very end of the episode. And we also don't get a real full shot of Moon Knight until the very end. But your thoughts overall, you really enjoyed it. And
I really did.
Yeah. I thought it was an easy watch for me. That's what I said. My daughter came up to me and said, "How was it?" I said, "It's a very easy watch. It's a very quick watch. It doesn't mince words. It doesn't go ahead and cut things out. It's very concise. It's a very good platform for me to go ahead and for an introduction on the character. There's a lot more to it. You're not given that context yet, but you're not needing to give that context because it's going to come up over the next 5 episodes. So I think it was a good start as well. Again, focusing more on Stephen Grant and his persona before you go ahead and understand what the real Moon Knight is all about. So yeah, I thought it was a real easy watch, and I really enjoyed it, my time watching it as well. So.
Yeah, absolutely. And I love the way that they cut back and forth. I know you know what I mean, and people who have seen it also know what I mean. But like the way that they cut back and forth, and it was like the rapid eye blinking and the weird audio stuff that they played with for it. It was really great. I'm very excited for the rest of it.
Yeah, as am I. It's a really good start. It's one of the better starts of all the Marvel television series so far. I put that up with Hawkeye as far as it's concerned. So I'm really excited to go ahead and see what's coming into play with Moon Knight. I know Melinda is as well. We want to hear your thoughts. If you enjoyed the first episode, and if you're looking forward to more episodes of Moon Knight and where it's going from here, again, he's going to play a good role in the MCU. I don't know what. I mean, you don't obviously introduce his character and dedicate a series unless you're going to put him at some point in line in the thick of things in the MCU in some form or fashion. I know he's stated that Moon Knight was going to be kind of like a solitary character, but Kevin Feige, it's all
Yeah,
ties into each other.
it
So yeah,
does. Absolutely.
Midnight Suns, Dark Avengers,
Yeah.
or something like that. He's going to get involved in some form or fashion down the line in the MCU. So looking forward to seeing more episodes of Moon Knight, and I know Melinda is as well. And please, if you have any thoughts, let us know. popculturecosmos@yahoo.com. Well, before we head on out, my friend, a couple of things I want to go ahead and hit you up on. The Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Finally, we get a time frame for the Game of Thrones prequel. So the House of Dragon, I mean, my gosh, it's finally coming around. It seemed like forever.
Yep.
Your thoughts on this? You excited for this August premiere? I mean, House of the Dragon, you feeling it? I'm not a huge fan of the series, so I'm kind of like, yeah, I'll probably check it out just because.
Yeah, I mean, I enjoy the lore of the Targaryens, so that's going to be interesting to kind of learn more about that and explore some more there. I don't think that I'm over what they did to the final season of Game of Thrones yet.
I don't think you and I both. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like 2 years or more since the series ended, and it still hurts. It still hurts me as a fan. So I am incredibly cautiously optimistic about this one.
I am as well. August 21st rolls around. I'm going to be checking it out. I know everybody else, because everybody's going to be talking about, oh, Game of Thrones. I don't know if this is the way I would go, though. To me, the last episode kind of, how should I say this? It set itself up for some series that would extend beyond it as far as adventures for some of the characters that I think would be more appealing.
Right.
Because they're individuals that I've become familiar with.
Yeah.
I think one in particular where it was the young lady who was, I guess, going east or west on the ship. I forget which way it was.
Arya.
Yeah, Arya. Yeah, Arya was going, following her. She's a fascinating character. And
Great
I
character.
would have, been all in on her, following her trails as she goes, off into other lands via the sea and, slashing people's throats left and right there. So as only she can do. But
Right.
yeah, I mean, House of the Dragon is something, again, HBO is going to promote the heck out of it. And it's going to be battling shortly thereafter with the Lord of the Rings prequel.
Right.
That's coming to Amazon Prime. So you're going to see the battle of the heavyweights right there, which is
man.
going to be fun for us to
There are
talk
going to be
about.
so many swords on TV, and I'm so excited.
Yes. So we're all going to be enjoying that. But yes, I'm interested. I'm intrigued. I know that there's still like the burn from what we saw in the final season, the final episodes of Game of Thrones. But I think by now I think it's the time to at least give it another shot.
I mean, maybe by the time August 21st comes around, I'll be ready. But
absolutely, I hope you will be. I hope at least give. You got to give it the Melinda try. Always got to give it the Melinda try.
I will. Yeah, I will. It gets the 4 episodes, and we'll see how it goes.
Yes, we'll see how it goes indeed. But if you're ready to go ahead and check out The House of the Dragon, the Game of Thrones prequel, when it comes to HBO Max and HBO August 21st, we want to hear your thoughts. If you're really excited to get back into the world of Game of Thrones, please let us know. popculturecosmos@yahoo.com. Well, before we head on out, 2 last things I want to touch on with you, and that is, first up, The Bubble this weekend. This is normally would just be something I would have just glossed over, checked out the trailer, and then be done with it. But Judd Apatow always has a great place in my heart because one of my favorite movies from the mid-2000s was The 40-Year-Old Virgin, which if you watch it as a movie, and as far as what I mean by that is if you watch it not just as a silly comedy, but as a story,
right,
as a well-constructed movie, I think you will take a look at it and see it in a great perspective because I think it is one of the best movies, one of the best comedies of the 2000s. It had an all-star cast, and most of them were still on their way up. which was even better
Yeah.
because you're getting all these performances from individuals that didn't know where their next paycheck was coming from. So it's really entertaining to see. But again, it's Judd Apatow. He's coming back with a Jurassic Park meets COVID movie per se, as far as the COVID restrictions and things of
Right.
that nature. So you get to see all
Right.
the COVID jokes you want and Jurassic Park
Household
jokes.
bubbles. Yeah.
Yeah, so you get
Yeah.
to see all that. But I want to hear your thoughts on the bubble before we head on out.
I honestly, I don't really know a whole lot about that one, but it's Judd Apatow. I'll give it the
Yes.
old college try and see what's up for sure.
Yeah, and it's like a 2 hour movie. It's on
Yeah,
Netflix.
yeah,
If you've already done with the Atom Project, which has been the number one movie the past 3 weeks, then yeah, I think it's time to move on to another movie. So yeah,
yeah. Go ahead, pop yourself some popcorn, kick back, watch a Judd Apatow movie. It's not a bad way to spend an evening.
no, not a bad way at all. So yeah, definitely. If you're interested, check it out this weekend. Want to make sure people have thoughts and ideas on what they want to check out. Halo Episode 2, that's something I'll talk about, as well as The Bubble. I'll give my thoughts on both of those entertainment prospects on the Monday show. But we want to hear your thoughts on The Bubble. Will you stay in the bubble for Netflix? Please let us know. Popculturecosmos at yahoo.com. You like that little
It was
tie
good.
in?
That
Yeah,
was
I
good.
try. I
I
try.
like
I
it.
try.
It was like it. Well done. It's like you've
Yes,
been doing
absolutely.
this for a while.
Oh, yes. Well, not almost as long as you. Almost as long as
Almost.
you. Yeah, almost indeed. But before we head on out,
Hmm.
we've got kind of an apology because we were teasing him a little bit on the Monday show, and that is for Bruce Willis
Oh dear.
because the Razzies did go ahead and create a category for all of his movies last year, which were all bad, which were all VOD, which were all not very good, and now it seems like things are turning for the worse for him because not only the fact that he won quote unquote a Razzie on the weekend, he
Right.
just announced, or his social media account announced, that he, due to health reasons and a diagnosis that was made, unfortunately will be going into retirement for his diagnosis of aphasia.
Yeah.
And you had a great description of aphasia. So please, if people are unfamiliar with this, and I was unfamiliar with this before I checked out what was going on with Bruce Willis, let us know your thoughts on Bruce Willis and exactly what that type of condition is.
I can't imagine something that would be more terrifying for an actor than something like aphasia happening to you. It's a cognitive um issue that happens, and it affects your ability to communicate and understand communication, whether it's spoken word, reading, your speech. You're saying things but your brain is telling you that nothing is making sense, so maybe what you're saying isn't making sense. You don't know. You
Yeah,
just don't, you can't recognize it anymore. And my heart truly breaks for Bruce Willis.
yeah,
um
mine
yeah.
does as well.
Wow, I can't imagine anything scarier. They're saying his is related to a brain injury.
Yes,
And from what I've read, and if I'm, let's face it, I'm not like you know, anywhere near a medical, trained person, but from what I understood, from what I read about aphasia today, is that you don't necessarily have to have the brain injury for it to happen. Like it could just happen,
that's the scary part.
right? Oh my goodness. And just, yeah, my gosh. I I mean, I know that there are people out there who are facing, terrible stuff every single day. And I know that there are people who, are losing battles every single day. And, when you hear about one like Bruce Willis, there's probably people who would be happy to trade places with that. But as somebody who is in the entertainment industry, who has made a career of a performance that they've been able to do, even I believe he did a voiceover for a cartoon as well. I can't remember. Could be wrong. Don't quote
You
me.
probably are right. He's done a few over the
He's
years.
done quite a bit, right? So
Yeah,
to suddenly be like look at a page that's in a format that you recognize as a script, but not be able to comprehend it anymore. Oh man, I can't. I've spent most of today trying to wrap my head around that, and I mean, there's going to be a point where he isn't able to understand what his kids are saying to him.
Yeah, and that's
you
scary.
know? And there's going to be a point where he's frustrated. And I can't imagine the frustration of, you know, having the words in your head, but not being able to make them come out properly.
Yeah.
I just, gosh, that's heartbreaking.
It is heartbreaking, and to see his career gone from such high of highs, starting with Moonlighting, which I loved back in the day. That tells you how old I am. I was watching it back in the day, and to obviously the best Christmas movie ever, Die
Yep.
Hard,
Yeah. I mean,
and
Death Becomes Her, he was so good in that movie.
yeah, he had his highs as far as great movie, box office, blockbuster. Then he would
Yeah.
do a bomb like Bonfire of the Vanities and some other stuff that he did.
Yeah.
It's highs and lows, but he was always considered a success in the '90s and early 2000s.
Yeah.
Last movie I really remember him hitting with, and I could be wrong. I'm just doing this off the top of my head. Is Looper? I think that was the
Okay.
last movie by Rian
Gosh,
Johnson that he
that
was
was a good
really.
movie.
Yeah, that was a really good movie that he was a part of. Obviously Pulp Fiction, he played a role in that as well with Quentin Tarantino. But the way his careers ended up, I mean, we've seen this from a lot of these name actors that take
Well,
these
I'll tell
roles,
you,
which kind of scratch your head.
if he has had this diagnosis for a while,
Mhm.
that could explain the push to just get out as many movies as you can.
You could be right.
Like, let's just do it. Let's just get, let this be my swan song. And none of them even had to be good, I'm sure. Just let me do this.
But if
Leave a
he knew
little
that
bit
and it could have been hinted to the right person, the right director, it could have put him on in at least a decent role before he headed on out.
Oh, yeah, but you know what? We don't know at what stage he's at.
Yeah, that's true.
We don't know if, how far this comprehension issue or communication issue
Yeah,
has gotten with him to the
yeah,
point where
that's
he's
true.
had to make the announcement. So, it could be a case of the easy script was the better choice,
Yeah,
perhaps.
good
Pure
point.
speculation. I have no idea, but
Good point. Very
yeah.
good point. Good point indeed. But our thoughts are with the Willis family. We wish him all the best. Hopefully, they will find something that will help alleviate the situation for him,
Yeah.
and he'll be able to live a quality of life that he deserves. Again, very sad to see all these performances on the way out, but let's not forget about the great performances he was a part of for so many decades. I think that should be the first and foremost thing that should be out there when it comes to Bruce Willis. So, again, our thoughts are with the Willis family. But if you have any thoughts or memories or a great movie or performance in mind when it comes to Bruce Willis, I mean, obviously the movies with M. Night Shyamalan that he was a part of in the early days as well, and then of course, Glass, the trilogy
Oh
of movies,
gosh.
that led
Unbreakable.
into,
Yeah.
yeah. So you're talking about that with those movies with that he was a part of with M. Night Shyamalan, and yeah, just he had some really great roles indeed. But we want to hear your thoughts on Bruce Willis, his life and his career. He's not dead yet, but unfortunately, he did have to go ahead and retire from acting because of the condition that he was diagnosed with. But please, if you have any thoughts on Bruce Willis and his career, please let us know. PopCultureCosmos@yahoo.com. Well, my friend, it's been a great episode. I cannot thank you enough as always.
Ooh, one other thing. One
Any
other
last
thing.
thoughts?
Obi
Well, this
Obi
is your last thought on the
Obi
way out.
Obi-Wan Kenobi. I've been waiting for it, and
Yes,
they
well,
had to push it back.
well, you know what, Kenobi, they did push it back. Ewan McGregor did a video earlier today, or actually yesterday, where he did announce that Kenobi is being pushed back, but just 2 days to be a
Another
part of
48
this.
hours.
Yes, another 40 hours, 48 hours, but but it
But
will be 2 episodes instead of one that's going to
oh,
drop. The
that's
first two
okay.
episodes will drop just to go ahead and make sure everybody's taken care of. It'll be part of the Star Wars celebration, which is going on that time, which is really the reason why that they're doing this. So,
Yeah.
yes, so it will be part of the Star Wars celebration. And I'll tell you what, I'm looking forward to it. I know Melinda is as well. But any last thoughts on the way out?
I am gonna give Morbius a chance.
Getting those fangs ready. Getting
Right,
those fangs ready.
I'm gonna see how it goes. It could be one of those movies that I find so bad that it's great.
Okay.
Those movies. This one might not be bad enough to be that. I don't know, but we'll see.
All I say is this to your husband Robbie:
Yeah.
watch your back. Watch your back. So for Melinda Barkhouse Ross, this is Gerald Glassford. It's another beautiful day in paradise right here in the PCC Multiverse. We thank you for listening. And here's hoping you have yourself a great